Hello, my name is ALLIE DUZETT. I'm a professional intuitive, and I've been working on this class, Energetic Foundations 3, and I'm so excited to share with you. So I'm stopping my screen for a minute, and I'm going to set up my presentation. Today we're going to talk about manufacturing energy, which is such an exciting topic. How do we experience energy, both in the woo-woo way and the non-woo-woo way? When we experience feeling energetic feelings, we feel energized, vitalized, revved up, like we can handle life. We feel joyful, we feel excited about what's coming. When we have an abundance of energy, life is good. And when we don't have an abundance of energy, then we are tired, we feel deflated, we could feel depressed, sad, maybe even anxious. This is how we experience energy. And I wrote both in the woo-woo way and the non-woo-woo way because even people that don't believe in things like auras or chakras can still agree that they can experience these feelings of feeling energized. And that is what we're kind of talking about today. So how does a person feel energized? Okay, I wanted to explore this because being energized has a lot to do with being happy. If we want to be happy, we kind of need to feel energized. It's hard to feel happy when you're not even energetic enough to get out of bed. We need to have the energy to run our lives, or else we will be very sad. So these are the literal mechanisms of feeling energized. The first is we manufacture our own energy. We can receive energy from others, and we can derive energy from supernatural sources. And these are all the forms of energy on top of, obviously, physical energy that we get from things like food. I am not a nutritionist, so we will not be talking much about food. Food is important, and we need to be careful about what we eat and be mindful of how it affects our body. But in addition to the energy we get from food, the way we feel emotionally, if we feel emotionally energetic or feel spiritual energy in our lives, these are the things that we're going to talk about a lot today. The first kind of energy that we can get is energy from what you might call on high. God, the universe, your higher power, that is where we get this energy. If you watched the last class, this is day energy. You get it from prayer, gratitude, meditation, spiritual practice, like the meditation that we did at the end of the last class. I wrote day life force energy. And you receive this kind of energy through your heart essence, which is separate from your physical heart, but within the same general region of your heart, possibly on kind of like a different plane, a different field. So that is how we get that kind of God energy, supernatural sourced energy. We can get energy from others through our relationships, and the actual mechanism for this is etheric cords. So etheric cords kind of look like tubes that connect one person to another person, and these cords work by siphoning energy off of another person. Okay, so basically they can act as drains, or they can act as access points for energy from other people. So in a positive relationship, both ends of the cord are giving and receiving, okay? To me, I see etheric cords and they look blue to me if they are healthy, and it means that both people in a relationship are giving energy and receiving energy from the other person involved. When that is not happening, the cords look black to me. And what that means is that on one end of the cord, somebody is either not willing to give, or maybe they are having their energy forcibly removed from them. In any case, it's not a two-way relationship. It's a one-way relationship where one person is being drained of their energy. So a lot of times, and people know this, I'm sure you have a friend that when you get together with that friend, you're like, oh, wow, I feel so pumped. I just love talking with this person. Every time we talk to each other, I leave feeling so much better than I did yesterday. And that is great. And then I'm sure we all know that person where, just thinking about interacting with them, you feel your heart power down a little bit. And you feel so sad and you think, I don't want to talk to them. They're just going to drain me of my life force. Maybe you don't think of it in those words, but anytime your mind starts thinking of excuses not to start talking to people because you feel like they're going to drain you, that's what's going on. Your body knows that you have a negative cord with this person, and interacting with that cord is going to start draining you, and you don't want to do it. So energy from others is good if it's coming from a mutually positive relationship, and it is not so good if you are getting your energy from others by draining them of their energy. But we'll talk about that more later. For people that are having trouble manufacturing their own energy, sometimes that's the only source of energy that they feel like they have access to. And sometimes that can actually be true. But we'll talk about that. Draining other people of their life force energy is not ideal. We can get energy from the earth and environmental factors as well. I list these as solar energy, energy from the sun, and terra energy, energy from the earth itself. And as we accept energy from the earth and sun and nature, even air, like when we breathe in to make prana, these are all different sources of energy that can help us feel energized. And they have the added benefit of, unlike the interpersonal energy sources, we don't have to worry about draining the sun or draining the earth. That's not going to happen, even though we can drain our best friend or our acquaintances. Manufacturing energy. We manufacture our own energy from our physical heart. Your chi energy, your life force energy that is yours, that your body makes. We make it from the heart area, and you make it yourself. The prana is separate from the chi, and that is located in the lungs. The manufacturing system is located in the lungs. And so when you want to feel more energized, one of the best things you can do is take really good deep breaths and just breathe a lot. To have a good prana system going, you just need a lot of air to manufacture that prana. And you'll find that the more you breathe and the more deeply you get used to breathing, the better you're going to feel in your whole life. You're going to feel healthier, stronger, more capable of getting done the things that you need to get done, everything like that. You're going to love it. So take lots of good deep breaths, deep breathe, okay? Breathe deeply while we're doing this class. It will make me so happy, just so happy. Manufacturing energy requires functioning manufacturing systems and a cooperative subconscious mind. So I think we're going to dig deeper into that in this lesson, but sometimes people's different manufacturing systems for energy are not functional. Sometimes, so I mentioned in the last class, I meet a lot of people whose terra manufacturing systems are not even working, but I believe it's because we don't usually expose ourselves directly to nature very much anymore. When was the last time you hugged a tree or stepped your bare feet on grass and dirt? We don't necessarily do that every day, and when that is the case, it can actually shut the system down out of disuse. And on top of that, we can stop using systems. For example, if we have a traumatic spiritual experience or we feel unloved by God, we might shut down the part of us that even accepts that energy from spiritual work, or we could shut down. We can shut down our chi manufacturing. Our body will shut down manufacturing systems for energy if it feels like that is the safest thing to do. And sometimes it is the safest thing to do. The body mind is very smart, and its number one goal is to keep you alive and to keep you as functional as possible. So it is on your side. And so if you find yourself having a dysfunctional prana manufacturing system or an uncooperative subconscious mind, it might not seem like a blessing, but it does mean that your subconscious mind and your body mind are working very hard together to keep you safe, even though it might not be in the best way. I find that everything that a subconscious mind has done for a person has been done for a person, and it is for your greater good, even if it doesn't feel like that. And so the trick is to thank the subconscious mind, thank those systems for what they did or didn't do, and then teach them the right way to handle traumatic situations. Many people don't know how to manufacture their own energy. This can happen for a bunch of reasons. On a subconscious level, there can be reasons like it's wrong to make my own energy. There could be maybe a subconscious feeling that the right way to be energized is to involve other people. And so then the body might shut down the systems that create the body's own energy. And so then you might have this person that is what you would call an energy vampire, as I put in quotes at the bottom of this page. A person who, whenever you're with them, it's like they're sucking you dry, and they don't even have to say anything, but just being close to them, they are literally sucking you dry through these etheric cords, because on a subconscious level, they feel like it's wrong to create their own energy for whatever reason. These reasons can involve even pre-birth trauma, even preconception trauma that has affected how we decided to come and live our life here on this earth. It can involve mortal trauma. Maybe as a child, your body, maybe you experienced a trauma where you felt like it was safer just to not have these systems function, or just as in the case of a physical injury. So say somebody punches you in the face, it breaks your nose, it's very sad, and you have all of this, physical trauma, you have to regrow the bone and like heal your nose, so on. The same way, our emotional traumas, our spiritual traumas, our mental traumas, when we have these traumatic experiences emotionally or mentally or spiritually, those can damage our emotional and mental and spiritual systems, and they can heal on their own, but sometimes it can take a long time. And so it can be the case that maybe you had this emotional trauma, say your mom got home an hour late after leaving you with a babysitter for the first time, and you're 6 months old and you're so alone and you're so scared, and everything is fine, and you have a babysitter and you have enough food in your bottle and so on, but you really miss your mom, and it causes this trauma in your heart, and maybe that shuts down your chronic manufacturing system. That can happen. And then it may not come back on for many years on its own without a lot of spiritual work or without some energy work and that kind of thing. So a lot of times my experience has been that for most people, when a system has been shut down, it does not typically come back on its own without some kind of effort. That may not be conscious effort, as far as like, it's not like people have to wake up and say, I'm going to heal my chronic manufacturing system today. But those systems can heal as a side effect of things like regular scripture study or regular meditation, regular church or temple attendance and that sort of thing. As we do these things to heal our spirits and our emotional selves, it can end up healing our energy manufacturing systems kind of by accident or as a side effect. But typically that's what I find, is that once something's been turned off, the only way it gets turned back on is with basically energy work that's targeted towards that, or it's the side effect of some other kind of work that is work. It's not like you wake up one day and everything's going to be fixed, in my experience. But I believe that everything is possible, so maybe that's possible. This can also involve generational issues. Some people's family lines are very resistant to manufacturing their own energy. And you can see how different energy patterns kind of replicate themselves in different family lines. And so that's a thing to be aware of as well, that maybe if you have an energy manufacturing problem, it's possible that it's not fully your problem. It's possible that this is almost a genetic issue on your father's side, your mother's side, both sides. And by doing generational energy work or ancestral healing, you can clear out the blocks that your body might have towards healing these things. So I'll just take a moment there to mention that in my experience, a lot of times how healing works, I I call myself a professional intuitive rather than an energy healer or a healer or something like that, because in the end, I don't heal anybody. Everyone heals their own self. I view my job as discovering what the blocks are that are preventing healing. The body, mind, the spirit, our subconscious minds, they are so powerful and so effective at protecting us, and they really just want to do what is the best for us. And so no matter what situation is going on in your life right now, I can guarantee it, your subconscious mind is cooperating with this because it honestly believes that that is the exact right, safest, best thing for you. And so, but obviously, if you have, arthritis or diabetes, like, your subconscious mind needs to get the message that this is not the best thing for you. But how will it get that message? We have to teach it, and we have to clear out these ideas that it has that make it think that these are the best solutions to whatever problem it thinks it has. So, but what I find is that when you start clearing out those blocks, a lot of times the body will just automatically heal itself. You clear out the trauma and remind the body what to do, and it will just fix itself. And that is just so amazing. Body minds are amazing. I use the word body mind, and it refers to how our mind is not just in our brain. Our mind is in every cell of our body. It's even in our aura, every molecule of our overall being, within or without our body. The body mind is there, and it's just so amazing. Okay, here are some blocks that prevent energy manufacturing. So I find that many people do not even know how to manufacture energy for their own selves. So what that looks like, if you are an energy worker yourself, is when you tune into their energy field, you can ask, like, does this person know how to create prana? And you're going to get a yes or no answer, and you might be surprised at how often you get a no for an answer. And so then you need to, basically download to that person's energy field a knowledge of how to manufacture this energy, so that they know how to function. And so what you will want to do is go through each of the 5 energy systems, the Terra and Sola and Prana and Chi and Day, and make sure that all of those conduits are as unblocked as possible, and then and that they know how to function. Okay, so here I have written they can know how but still struggle. So once they know how to function, sometimes they still don't function. Even if they know what to do, they still don't. And I mean, you can kind of compare that to real life. I think most of us know what we should be doing. We all know that we should stay on top of doing the laundry and stay on top of doing the dishes and keep our kitchen clean. And we should get up a little bit earlier every day to, do our meditation or take a walk or exercise. We know a lot of things that we should do, and we even know how to do them. I know how to set my alarm a little earlier. I know how to put my dishes right in the dishwasher instead of leaving them all over the place. But it's possible to still struggle even if you know how. So why do we struggle even if we know how to do these things? Our energy manufacturing is autonomic or subconscious. I mean, it is both autonomic and subconscious, as opposed to something like doing the dishes. Doing the dishes will require some conscious choice, but energy manufacturing does not. Energy manufacturing is pretty much in the realm of the subconscious mind. So how come it can know how to work but still not work if it's not consciously choosing to not work? So there are a couple of reasons why that can be. Here I wrote blocks from others or the self. So blocks can be things like belief programs or emotions. For example, a belief program in play might be, if I create my own energy, then I won't need my parents anymore. And there could be an attached fear that my parents won't love me if I don't need them. Or you could have a block from somebody else, say a parent that says, I can't let little Susie manufacture her own energy because then she won't be dependent on me. So basically, codependence that as we recognize it in the Western world, without all the woo-woo stuff, when people are codependent, in that way, they are also codependent energetically, and that they can lay blocks for each other that prevent the other from progressing. And so as you're looking into your own self, figuring out your own energy manufacturing systems, you can check and see, am I holding myself back? Is there anyone else in my life who might benefit from me being held back? And is it possible that they have contributed to any blocks that are in my system? And that can be something worth investigating. If you know how to muscle test, you can just muscle test, and you can just say, do I have blocks? Do I have blocks for myself or from others in my Terra manufacturing system that are preventing it from, functioning 100%? And so it can be very easy to discern those things if you know how, but they're something good to be aware of. There can be internal and external reasons why your energy manufacturing problems are happening. Internal reasons would be things like we've discussed, belief programs, emotions, that kind of thing. External factors might include things like food. If you're eating a really inflammatory diet, say you are one of the many people that is sensitive to glyphosate, and you don't know that, and so you just keep on eating food that is laced with pesticide and herbicide, and it causes this trigger reaction. Maybe you're overweight, maybe you're full-on obese, and you don't know that, but it's causing this inflammatory reaction in your body. Your body and your energy system are intimately linked, and so your physical inflammation from your physical diet can shut down or severely hamper the functioning of your energy manufacturing systems. So that would be an example of an external manufacturing system problem. Diet, insufficient hydration, gotta drink up, guys, and drink high quality water. Intake of things like fluoride from your fluoridated toothpaste that can calcify the pineal gland and really mess with your sola manufacturing. Let's see, even flame retardants on your clothing, all of these different things. I mean, they affect everybody differently, and so some people might be extra sensitive to, whatever's on their clothes, and some people are extra sensitive to what's in their food, but there's just a lot of environmental factors that can play a part in how your body is manufacturing energy. Generationally speaking, I mentioned in the last slide that we can have inherited blocks from our ancestors. Our family lines can carry issues with energy and energy manufacturing. And so that's another good thing to keep an eye on. When you're looking at your own life, you can ask yourself, when do I feel the most energized? When do I feel the least energized? Do I have a pattern of trying to be energized by taking my energy from others? How do I receive my energy? And then you can really dig into these things of, is this a family pattern? Do my parents do the same thing that I do to get energy? Do my siblings? And you can kind of see if there's a generational pattern that's going on. And sometimes generational patterns can skip a generation. So maybe the way that you are manufacturing energy at this point is not the same as your parents, but maybe your grandparents have a similar way of manufacturing energy, as far as like maybe you and your grandparents both have a real aversion to nature, and your Terra programs are, your Terra manufacturing systems are severely impaired, that sort of thing. So generational issues with energy manufacturing are something to keep an eye on. These issues can be premortal or mortal, so I feel like it's always good to check on, are these things mortal? Are these things premortal? Find out when blocks were sustained and why they were sustained. Sometimes there are blocks on a manufacturing system that you can't discover until you ask just the right question. And so that's when it's good to know, like, did something happen, before I was born or after I was born that affects my energy manufacturing? It's a good question to ask. You can also have absorbed blocks on energy manufacturing, and how that works is through etheric cords, as I mentioned earlier, these cords that connect people. It's the physical mechanisms of relationships. The stuff of relationships that is matter looks like etheric cords. And so when you really love somebody, sometimes your subconscious mind will take on their issues. And so the example that comes to my mind is my daughter. And my daughter always, and she's just a little high drama 3-year-old. And, you know, she has these issues or whatever. And then sometimes I find myself subconsciously or even consciously taking on her issues so that she doesn't have to deal with them. But then I have to deal with them. And sometimes they can show up as blocks on energy manufacturing. So you can absorb other people's issues. You can, whether you like them or not, whether you want to or not, although if you choose not to, then you most likely won't. The power of choice is just so incredible. But a lot of people want to be open to absorbing the energy of others because what if your loved one is sick? You know, I can usually disentangle clients who, you know, they have this belief program of, you know, I have to take on my husband's, you know, issue because if I don't, then he will die. Like, usually that's not true. And usually we can just sort that out. But there was one notable case that I worked on where I had permission to access the husband's energy field. And I did find that his energy manufacturing systems were so broken that if his wife stopped processing this one particular issue, he actually, what his body said that he could actually suffer a significant health problem if she stopped processing his stuff. So we are willing to absorb people's energies on a subconscious level, either because we feel like we deserve to be punished with other people's energies, or because we love them and we don't want them to hurt. And so mothers absorb their children's issues, children absorb their mother's issues, spouses absorb each other's issues, even sometimes teachers and students. And sometimes if you are really open, and some people are, and particularly the cohort of humans that will be watching this video, you guys are way more likely than the average Joe to have very open energy systems. And if you are very open and very empathic, it's possible even to absorb stuff from like the person you stood next to in the grocery store line. So that's something to be aware of, that not all of your issues are yours. Sometimes they're absorbed from somebody else. And these can all manifest as blocks on energy manufacturing. And I'll just pause and say, they can manifest in lots of other ways as well. Excuse me. They can manifest in lots of other ways as well. So how do we fix this? The first thing is that it can depend on person to person based on type. In our last class, we talked about how we have these different, we relate to things in 3 different ways: emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. And here I wrote physical, but that's not really one of the top, like, we relate to things emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, and everybody relates to things physically. But here is the explanation. We can do emotion clearing, theta work that clears mental blocks and subconscious belief programs. We can fix connections and connectivity between a person and their own higher self, or their own organs, or their loved ones, or them and God. And we can do body interface work that uses the physical body to figure out what's going on and solve the problem. Okay, body as interface. Why does it work? All systems theoretically connect through the physical body, barring anomalies. I did have to put that in because some people, in cases of trauma, basically every type of spiritual anatomical structure can flee in the case of trauma. So for example, you experience some childhood abuse or something, maybe your aura runs away and your body mind says, it is much safer for me if I don't even have an aura anymore. and it will just send it away, and then it's not there anymore. And so your systems are not connecting through your physical body because the aura is missing, or your meridians are missing, or they're flowing backwards, or your chakras are missing. Basically anything can be missing. Most people are missing something, but most people are not missing. Most people have more than they are missing, if that makes sense. Most people have most things. But everything has somewhere on the body that it corresponds to. All of the energetic components of ourselves we can work on through working on the physical body. By removing blocks within the physical body, we open conduits for healing and allow things to return to their optimal condition. And this is true even if we are missing things. If you clear enough other issues from the physical body, you're going to make room for your aura to come back on its own. So basically, the body can only hold a finite amount of trauma. And so as we begin clearing out what trauma the body is holding, the stuff that has left because it felt like it was too broken for the body to hold on to anymore, can come back. We're freeing up space in the interface of our body to allow more of our broken stuff to come back so we can heal that too. I call this the long winding road. The body has limited space to store trauma. As we clear trauma from the physical body, excess trauma that couldn't fit in our cellular structures precipitates down from the aura and enters the cells. So as we heal, we unearth new trauma. It does end. It might feel like the healing process takes forever, but it does not take forever. I'm still on my own healing journey, and we all will be on our own healing journeys until we are 100% healed, but I know that that is in our destiny if we choose it to be. We will all end up as healed as we want to be and as healed as we are willing to put in the work for. And as we heal the trauma that's stored in our body, the excess trauma that couldn't fit in our body, because we all have so much trauma from our lives here and our lives before we were born. I say lives for all of us collectively. I do not believe in multiple lives, just for the record. I am not one of those reincarnation people, but our life before we were born, we have trauma from then too, and as we clear out the trauma that our physical bodies are storing, it makes room for more of the other trauma to come in, and so we can clear that out too, and we're just going to clear out all the trauma that we have. So how does it work? The various energetic pieces of the body have links to the physical body. This is on a holonic level. So the word holon means basically a hole within a hole, W-H-O-L-E. That's, so we have our physical body, for example, and that's a hole. But then you also have a liver, and your liver itself is also a hole. And it itself has, blood vessels and stuff, and each of those are their own hole. And within those, they each have cells, and those cells are holes in and of themselves. And then within the cell, we have intracellular structures, and those are holes. And then within those structures, we have molecules, and those are also holes in and of themselves. And within those, we have atoms, which are holes. And then within the atoms, we have protons and electrons and neutrons. And within those, we have even smaller subatomic particles. And so basically, I am a Latter-day Saint, and in one of the Latter-day Saint scriptures in the Doctrine and Covenants, it talks about how in every space there is a kingdom, and there is no space without a kingdom. And it's this idea that everything, the whole world is operating on this holonic system where we have these big holes and then smaller and smaller, but everything is a complete, everything is part of something that is complete on all these different levels. So the cells, organs, physical structures of the body all have energetic and spiritual links and corresponding spiritual and energetic organs. So you have a physical body and you have a spirit body. You have physical eyes, you have spiritual eyes. You have a physical liver, and you have a spiritual liver and an energetic liver. And so all of these different parts of us, we also have energetic correspondence parts. And as we work on those, we can often experience a shift in the workings of the physical body. And so as we work on the physical body, we can experience a shift in the energetic body. And it all goes back to vibration, as we talked about in the first lesson. We're raising the vibration so that we can be happier and healthier and just resonating really well. So what do we do? Many forms of energy work can be effective. I have personally studied over a dozen for sure different modalities, and I use them all, you know, depending on what my client needs, and I really like all of them. And so some people just do emotion code, and some people just do theta healing, and some people just do quantum touch or Reiki, and all of those things are extremely valid, and they can be effective depending on the needs of the client. And so it really just depends on what you personally need for your energetic system, and how, you know, how your situation stacks up, and everything like that. But one thing that you can personally do right now without having to go see anybody is learn to use your own body as an interface yourself. Okay, so I think that's the end of my presentation right here, preparing the body for more effective healing. So one thing I wanted to mention on this slide is the role of detox. I don't want to have to go super deep into this, but our lives right now are super toxic. Our food is mostly not food. And the food that we do have, I mean, Doritos, I would not count those as actual food. Or, oh man, Sweet Tart Chewy Sours. I love them, but they're not really food. And we eat food dye made out of crushed up bug shells, and we eat pesticides and herbicides and all sorts of stuff that is just a little bit sketchy, and our clothes are soaked in flame retardants, and our, you know, even our organic food is still grown in situations where our food itself is not getting enough minerals and vitamins. I mean, to have the same nutrition from a carrot nowadays, and it would take like 50 carrots to get the same amount of nutrition that you could have gotten from one carrot 50 years ago. Just because of the nature of fertilizers now, and how we prepare fields, and what our soil is made of, and this loss of micronutrients. We have fluoride in a lot of the water and a lot of the toothpaste that we use. If you have never researched fluoride, I urge you to research it and its effects on the body, and particularly the pineal gland, which is one of the most important pieces of your body for healing. And these are all just things that we're just surrounded with every day. So one of the best things you can do is research ways to just detox your body from fluoride, detox your body from just these yucky ingredients that we eat. Commit yourself to eating food that actually grew in the ground, and, you know, we can shelve the stuff that doesn't rot and eat food that will rot, because then we know it has nutrients in it. You know, give your body the stuff it needs, and it will thank you, and it will prepare your entire system for more effective healing. It's really hard to feel good emotionally if your body does not feel good physically. And it's hard to heal emotionally if your body doesn't have the nutrients it needs to function properly for emotional healing. Emotional healing is as physical healing, and it requires stores from the body, and we have to be able to provide that. So, okay, today I just wanted to do a few quick exercises to teach you how to get some of your systems going, okay? We're just gonna do some healing touch, and if this is your first time doing healing touch, I'm so excited for you. I love it. Just do it every day and you will see such a huge difference, and you're gonna love it. Okay, we start by waking up the nerve endings in the hands. Once you're really good at it, you don't need to do this step. I rarely do this step when I'm working, but I do it for you guys so you guys can see. So you rub your hands really good, and then you're gonna squish like this and see if you can feel that energy field of yours. Some people can't, and some people are missing their energy field for the reasons that we discussed earlier. So that's something to be aware of. If you don't feel anything, that's when you need to go and email somebody like me and say, oh no, I can't feel anything. My energy field must be gone. And we can take a look at it, see if we can call it back. Which the note is, everything is fixable. Everything is fixable. There is never a reason to despair because everything can be fixed. So have hope. It can be fixed. Don't worry. It will be fixed. So just have faith and be happy and feel that squish of energy field. Okay. The first thing we're going to work on, I think we're just going to work head to toe, I guess. Why not? So we'll start with our solar manufacturing system up here in the crown of the head. This is where we take in energy from the sun and from the moon. And this is not a primary energy source. I mean, it is. There's the 5 types of life force energy, but I mean, obviously your biggest one is going to be chi and prana and like day energy, but the Terra and Sola are very important as well. So what you're going to do is put your hands like this, and you're going to breathe just long and slow and deep, and I'm going to put on some music for us. Maybe, you know what, I'll keep it quiet for this. But we're just going to breathe, and we'll do this for just 2 minutes, okay? And your job is to just take as long and slow of breaths as you can. And just focus on feeling. And you can touch yourself if you want, or you can hover if you want. That's fine. What we're doing is creating a conduit of our chi energy, manufacturing from the heart, and our prana energy also manufacturing in the heart area, in the lungs. And it's going to travel through our arms, and we're creating the circuit, okay? And it's going to unplug the blocks that we have going on in our solar system. So just go ahead and breathe and breathe. We're unblocking some systems. 1 more minute. Okay, now I said we were going to go head to toe, but I changed my mind. Our Terra system is located from the knees down. So I want you to grab either your knees. So I'm sitting cross-legged right now. I'm going to put my hands right there on my knee, right under my knees. You could put your hands on your feet, however you're sitting. If you're sitting in a chair, put your hands on your knees. That's perfect. And you're just going to lightly rest your hands. If you touch, you can hover, 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 or you can touch just gently. We don't press in when it comes to hands-on healing work. Unless, I mean, you're a massage therapist, but for this type of healing, where we're creating the circuit of chi and life force energy, we're just going to lightly touch, and we're just going to breathe and breathe. So we'll do this for 2 minutes as well. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and out 2, 3, 4. You can relax your shoulders. As you do this exercise, you might realize that part of you feels stiff, or you might have your attention called to certain places in your body, and you can just accept it and just keep breathing. If emotions come up, it means that you've created this circuit around a particular block that's coming up. So that's really good. And if you feel a sensation, a physical sensation or an emotional sensation, put your hands on the place where you feel that sensation until it clears. That can take some time. Sometimes it can take maybe even up to an hour, but I don't think I've ever had a situation where it took more than an hour to clear whatever was going on, you know. So just breathe and accept what you're feeling. Relax into it. This can be very, very relaxing. So we did our Solar energy system at our head, and now we're doing our Terra energy system from our knees down. Okay, and now I'll have you rub your hands again just to kind of wake them up. Okay, our Dei manufacturing system and our Chi manufacturing system are both right in the heart area, pink, 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 and the Prana system is in the lungs. It's like two rectangles and one this way, like a weird H or like most of a box without the bottom. My fingers won't do it. Like this kind of a shape. There we go. That's what the Prana manufacturing system looks like, and it's right over the lungs. And so we're going to work on all three right here for 5 minutes, okay? And we're just going to put our hands over. You can do it however you want. The important thing is creating this circuit and setting this intention, using your powerful mind to choose that you're going to use the power of your breath, the power of your chi, and the power of your choices, and to choose that the blocks that are preventing optimal chi flow and pranic flow and Dei energy flow will be removed. We're clearing out these blocks now with our deep breath, our powerful intention. So just go ahead and breathe so nice and slowly. Okay. This is a very good exercise to prepare yourself for sleep. This is something you can do in bed when you're getting ready to fall asleep. This is a very grounding exercise. If you have a hard time feeling like you're connected to your own body, this is a great way to practice feeling connected, to connect with yourself. You can do it pretty much anywhere, although people might look at you weird if you walk around doing this, but you could still do it if you wanted. You can do it in the day, you can do it in the night, you can do it in the shower. This is a great way to just get in touch with your physical body again and reconnect. So this is a great way to prepare your body for further healing, and you are doing energy work right this minute. Right this minute by touching your own body right over where your systems are being manufactured, up here on the crown, down on your knees and feet, or over your heart area. Whenever you do this gentle touch and take your deep breaths and set that intention that I'm going to clear out some blocks now, you are doing your own energy work. So congratulations, good for you. And I urge you to practice this every day. You will notice changes in your life. And I do urge you to come back and tell me about the things that you notice. Ask some questions. I love to hear from everybody ever. I love it. So please reach out. And I hope you enjoyed this class. And I hope you come back for class number 4. Have a good day.